for diverse skin tones. As a licensed esthetician, Rachel is the game changer in the beauty space and prides herself on bringing inclusivity to the clinical skincare industry, with products having garnered praise from Teen Vogue, Allure Best in Beauty several times, In Style Magazine, O Magazine, People, and notable shout outs from high caliber celebs. UrbanSkinRX can now be found online at urbanskinrx.com, as well as major retailers like Walmart, Target, Ulta, CVS, Walgreens, Dermstore.com, HSN, QVC. She is everywhere, including here with me today on Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff. Rachel, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Tiff.
Hey,
love you.
I love you too. I can't believe you're finally here. Thank you so much for joining me.
What episode do you think this is for you?
So here's the thing, right? I've got like 4 recordings today. Four this week, right? You are probably going to be you're number 12. You're number 12. Then we've got 13, 14. I've recorded a total of probably like 14 or 15. Okay. You're going to be number 12.
I always like to know where I am in the lineup.
Yeah, you're number 12 in the lineup. First in my heart, though. Know that. First in my heart, always. It's been an interesting ride, and I've been wanting to get you on, but like I have said with a lot of my other guests, I want it to be intentional. I don't want to just I want to have you back just to kiki. But I also want to make sure that in this first season of episodes that we make sure that we're bringing something of value to the people and that they're getting what they need. And what we all need is a good skincare regimen.
That is true. A good skincare regimen for some people can be really life-changing.
Life-changing. And let's talk about it, because I know that you are someone, well, first of all, I'm going to get to what I was getting ready to say. I'm going to remember that. But for those that are watching the podcast, because we do have a video portion of the podcast, the entire video episode is going to be uploaded to Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify, you can also watch on Spotify. You can also watch on YouTube, but Spotify's the girl. Spotify's where it's at. Many people are going to look at the Spotify episode and be very surprised that a melanin-rich woman is the CEO and founder of UrbanSkinRX. And I know this is something that you get.
Huge subject in my life for 20 years now.
Yes.
It's gotten even bigger, during the last few years.
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm
we
sure.
Can always address the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Well, I think it's worth addressing. I love this story. I love it. Like it's my favorite story about you and about the company. And I appreciate the story. So not just talking about, you're not here just talking about melanin-rich skin and the concerns that we have as melanin-rich people, but you also developed a skincare line to address those issues. So how did you find yourself in this space, and why was it so important for you to address these issues that maybe you didn't necessarily have, but you saw it as something that was very much needed in this industry?
And it was very simple and obvious, the whole situation. I think, growing up in a family that has different skin tones and ethnicities, as well as, my friends. So just the people around me had melanin-rich skin, not everybody, but people that I loved. And so when I entered into an industry that was so uninclusive, of the people I loved, it was just kind of an obvious no-brainer decision of mine. Unfortunately, I've gotten a lot of flack for it and a lot of questions about my character and everything.
Which
from
is so weird.
Cultural appropriation. I mean, the list goes on and on. And it is too bad that we are in a world where we are questioned if an injustice that doesn't directly like affect me personally, if me wanting to help, that, has been hard for people to understand. But unfortunately, I think to improve a lot of the injustices in the world, it relies on allyship, and it relies on people who aren't a part of that marginalized group or population
Mm-hmm.
taking a stand and using their platform to bring awareness.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it just kind of was what happened because of the people I love. And then it just got bigger and bigger because there truly was this global disparity when it came to
Yeah.
having accessible, affordable, effective skincare products that work for the needs of melanin-rich skin, which is pretty much hyperpigmentation.
Mm-hmm.
The skincare industry has been around for years, but it's been pretty old school, really addressing two major subjects, which is acne and anti-aging. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like for years that was what the skincare industry was most well known for. And
Mm-hmm.
literally just in the last 2 years, I'm now seeing all the mainstream brands not just become more inclusive with marketing finally, and, you know, including the needs of melanin-rich skin in their conversation, in their education, in their platforms. But they're also now offering more solutions. It might only be one or two products versus Urban SkinRx's full line is all about
Right.
hyperpigmentation. But I've seen such strides in inclusivity in the industry in the last 2 years.
And please know that you're a trailblazer for that. Like that wouldn't be happening if they didn't see the growth, the potential in the market. Let's be honest, is a lot of it
Yeah,
is
no,
marketing and
I'm so proud. It's
yeah.
been an interesting
And you
time
should
for
be.
Urban SkinRx because we have a lot of competition now, and the fact that we're not Black owned when there's finally starting to be, like, for a long time, I think customers had nowhere else to invest their money in
Mm-hmm.
but Urban SkinRx, because regardless of the fact that we weren't Black owned, we were creating products finally that worked and were very
Yes.
inclusive of the needs of, melanin rich skin. But now there's other, competitors who are offering similar options. I wouldn't say all are as good as us, but effective options, but
Mm-hmm.
are, owned by, women of color or just like different minority groups. And so I
Mm-hmm.
completely understand the need to invest financially back into Black owned companies. And so it is an interesting time for Urban SkinRx. And,
Yeah.
being a CEO, I do have a lot of financial pressure, and being number one and driving a profitable business is
Mm-hmm.
important. But I try to remind myself a lot of times that when I started this company, it wasn't about profitability. It wasn't about making millions and millions of dollars. It was truly just out of this like 23-year-old who saw this huge injustice and wanted to make people feel more beautiful in
Yeah.
their own skin. And I think that we've done what we needed to do. We proved to the big box retailers like Target and Ulta that that consumer wants an array of products and will come out and shop. And so
Mm-hmm.
offering more choices and expanding this category and being that first person in the category of multicultural skincare other than maybe Ambi, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think we are a pioneer brand, and we kind of
Mm-hmm.
done what we've needed to do.
I love that. I love that. And I'm so excited for all of the growth that Urban SkinRx has had and will continue to have because let's face it, Rach, the skincare is bomb. It's
Thank you. I
it's very
think
bomb.
so myself. We have very interesting reviews though. It's like 90% of people I'd say 85% of people love us, and 15% of people are like, oh my God, it irritated the hell out of my skin. There's not,
But you know why that is.
yeah, because they're strong products. I mean, it's a combination of multiple
Exactly.
things. I basically took a med spa professional line and brought it to
Mhm. Like a
over the
mainstream
counter.
market.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so that has been a struggle because I didn't want to dilute the strength of my products. I
Hmm.
really wanted to just grow the accessibility of them. But when you use clinical strength products and you don't follow directions, or you just buy one product and, you're not using the right ones to make sure you're hydrated while you're deeply
Right.
exfoliating, it can irritate you. But I just tell myself that I'd rather be life changing for 8.5 out of 10 people than go dilute the whole brand, because I really don't see reviews that are your products didn't work. It's either you changed my life or they were too strong for me. There's no in between.
And I feel like that's okay, because what I have learned about your projects, and thank you, I'm so glad that I have a personal relationship with you where I can call and be like, listen, what is going on with this? I feel like this is like a lot, and you'll be like, girl, it's the real stuff. Like, I have a relationship with you where I can ask those questions. But what you've done with Urban Skin RX, the on urbanskinrx.com, is you've allowed for other people to have a personal relationship with what you call an SD bestie. They can go online and actually communicate with an esthetician about their skincare concerns and get product recommendations, correct?
Yeah, I think I'm so proud of what I've created with Urban Skin RX. Sometimes when I take a step back, because a lot of the things that I dreamed of 10, 20 years ago, I've finally had the resources to do. Like, I dreamt of having a customer service team of all estheticians. Like, I knew one day I was going to sell my med spa, but I wanted to always keep that professional accessibility, because I
Mhm.
know, especially with making strong products, how important it is. And I'm all for pushing people to visit dermatologists, but I very much believe in an esthetician's approach of kind of that mixed clinical and holistic approach and
Mhm.
educating consumers. So to be able to offer, Monday through Friday access to my full-time on staff line of estheticians that don't even do services, all they do is answer questions for our customers, is very surreal to me. I think I'm very proud of that.
It's very innovative, and it's a game changer. Again, yet another game changer in the industry. And people need to take advantage of that, because
They do.
that is huge, to be
Yeah.
able to have a skincare concern. What product should I use? What's going on with my skin? Maybe I just don't even know what this is,
Yeah,
to address
totally.
it.
Because a
Yeah.
lot of times it's not about recommending our products. I'm very, even you'll see in my Instagram lives, like, I'm all about just putting out education so that people can look at us as an educational resource. I learned that so long ago when opening my med spa and running it and doing consultations. It's totally about building that relationship
Yeah.
with the customer, so that when you do recommend something, they trust you. But yeah, because if you recommend and educate people about things that really bring instant gratification to their life, or just even more long term,
Mhm.
either way, they will put you in a certain box in their life,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I've loved that.
Well, I
Yeah, I
love
talk a
that
lot about,
about the
right now we're
company.
talking a
Yeah.
lot about laser hair removal and PCOS. This month is Acne Awareness
Oh,
Month.
yes.
So the conversation of hormonal acne and the issue of PCOS, which affects so many women, I think 10% of women, which causes acne and facial hair growth.
Yes.
We're
And so
talking
many
about,
women of color
yep,
too.
it
So
does
many.
over index in women of color. And so I was a laser hair removal technician for years, and I've been doing all these reels on laser hair removal. Do you think Urban Skin RX makes $1 off of me talking about laser hair removal? No. A lot of times I talk about acne and prescriptions people need for acne,
Yeah.
like Accutane. We don't make any money off of that, but it's helping improve people's life, and so they
Yeah.
want to come back and learn more from your brand.
Right. And I know that you know firsthand about the connection, that intersectionality between how we feel about ourselves, our mental, emotional well being, and our outward presentation, our appearance. And this started for you as a young lady, a teenager, even, I think, with melasma. Is that correct?
No, I was born with a large nevus mole. Well, it developed about a year and a half old. And so I was always super self-conscious about my skin's appearance because kids would always make fun of me. I mean, from a
Mm.
really young age, like preschool. And then I developed acne, and then I just always had, and I was overweight on top of it. So like just the whole appearance of my skin was just, oh, I was obsessed about it. And I think to this day, I still freaking struggle with it so
Mm.
hard. But I don't know. I know it can be viewed as vain, but I do think when people feel better about their outside appearance, it can positively impact a lot of different areas of their life.
Of
It's just,
course.
you have to walk a fine line with that subject. And especially as a provider, too, of how do I help spread acceptance, inner positivity, inner, appreciation that's not just focused on looks, but at the same
Yeah.
time, do my job and also believe in the fact that if somebody feels better about their self-image, it can positively impact a lot of areas of their life.
Absolutely. And I think what we have to ask is how can I support you in reaching whatever goal you have for yourself, whether that's mental health, whether that's skincare, whether that's physical appearance, financially, what is it that you need? How can we support you? And
Mhm.
Urban SkinRx does a great job in supporting that goal,
Yeah.
people's goals in terms of their skincare, in terms of their outward appearance and health.
But I mean, we have some non-negotiables. I mean, for me, as in that area, like, um, we believe it or not, I've been contacted for years about skin bleaching. We don't, help
Yeah.
anybody on their like goals of all over skin bleaching versus like specific, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation where you've gotten a dark mark or sunburn or a scar. I also won't look at somebody's skin and tell them what's wrong with it. You know what I mean? You tell me
Mhm.
what you don't like and we can talk about a solution for that. But I'm not going to do the whole, hey, what would you do to change my appearance? I'm not getting
Mm-mm.
into that.
That seems like a trap.
It's just not healthy because I'm not
Yes.
here to define what the standard of beauty is. I'm here to
Mhm.
help you with your personal goals.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. As a teenager, as I think about like growing up in skincare and what I was exposed to and what wasn't available, because it's interesting, going back to the initial conversation about how you got into the game, growing up, I there were products that were for me and there were products that just weren't for me. There was an aisle of products that we didn't necessarily feel as a community were for Black people. They just weren't.
Yeah,
Because
and
maybe they didn't address the concern. Maybe we didn't see it in ads. Maybe it just didn't seem like the right thing. But when I started to get, what were you going to say? First of all, go ahead with what you were going to say.
no, I mean, I think there were products out there. Like I said, hyperpigmentation is a huge concern of melanin-rich skin, but you know, people with melanin-rich skin do age and they do have acne. And so I
Hmm.
think that there has been solutions out there. It's just, and it's not like, for example, people ask me this all the time. Is there specific ingredients for melanin-rich skin? Like what makes your products for melanin-rich skin? And the thing is, that would be kind of, I think that's really gaslighting and
Hmm.
not true. It's about picking the right skincare products and ingredients for your skin concerns, which tends to be hyperpigmentation. So that's what makes UrbanSkinRX, I think, unique is
Hmm.
that we really are very extensive with keeping skin even tone. But can you use all these other brands if you have other concerns? Yes, I think they just
Hmm.
weren't being inclusive in copy and marketing and branding to make it feel like people of other
Yeah.
ethnicities beyond white should they use that? And then because
Right.
of the void in dermatology, where less than 5% of dermatologists are Hispanic or Black, I just think as a whole, there's been a lot of uneasiness about trusting the cosmetic industry and the dermatology industry for um, general minorities. You
Yeah.
know,
And I
I
think
mean,
I learned that from you. I
yeah,
learned
there's
that from you
lack of
that, like,
representation, which leads to
yeah.
misdiagnosis. Like, I mean, then there's just plain racism. You go to the doctor, you don't get treated as fairly, as somebody
Hmm.
with skin of color. So I think it's just been really a lot of layers that have
Yeah.
trickled over to the cosmetic industry.
It's funny because I went to the dermatologist one time. It was after I didn't put two and two together until months later, but I think I had had like a weave, right? And the lady had braided it too tight. She braided it too tight. I can tell it was too tight. And this was not Deanna, by the way. You're gonna see this. Your episode is coming up after Deanna. It was not Deanna. She did not braid my hair on my. She didn't take out my
So
edges.
did you get
So let's not.
tristan alopecia?
That's what I had. So what I ended up, I went in and this dermatologist who was not of color looked at my head, took a biopsy of my scalp while I was sitting in the office. Was not prepared for that. Y'all already know I'm afraid of needles. But came back and told me I had basically trichotillomania, which is an anxiety. He didn't know I was a therapist and knew exactly what it was, and I saw the lab report, basically told me I was pulling my own hair out.
Yeah, people tend to do that with eyelashes. That's
Yeah. And
another,
sometimes I do it with hair, but I'm like, I did not come to you to diagnose me with having pulled out my own hair. And so it wasn't until I started thinking about it. I talked with a black uh a dermatologist, and she was like, no, she just asked, have you ever worn weaves? Have you ever done this? Has it ever been too
yeah,
tight? Was it in this space? Blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. She's like, I think it was traction alopecia. I think that
And if
you know,
you
this,
went and got some PRP microneedling in that area, it would
yeah.
come back to life real quick.
And thankfully now I have edges.
Well, that's good.
But
Yeah,
but I'm like,
unfortunately,
this is
you know,
bananas.
yep, it is bananas.
And it's that the books that we use in for dermatology, they're not necessarily showing what a
Skin,
disorder looks like in a person of color in varied skin
totally.
tones,
Yep.
right? And so they don't know what it is that they're looking at, because what maybe alopecia or melasma or strawberry skin or all of these things look like on a melanated person may not look the same on someone with fairer skin, correct?
Hmm. Correct.
Yeah. Oh my word. Okay, so what I was going to say earlier is when I grew up I was a Clinique 3-step girly,
We all
and
were.
that
I guess if we came
they
from,
had a chokehold on
they did
everybody.
drying the hell out of our skin.
Oh my gosh. And I used that. Let me tell you, I used it for decades. I probably stopped using it mid 20s, early 30s. There was just a day it stopped working for me. Everything worked as most things in our lives as women, right? Things work, our bodies are the same, we can eat whatever we want, and then one day,
We
boom,
can't. I
it's
know.
over. Life as we knew it was over. Um Coincidentally, I used to eat a piece of cheesecake every night before
That's
bed
lovely.
in
That's
my
living
20s.
life.
Cannot do that now. Now I've transferred over to wine, but that's a whole nother story for another day. So, Clinique 3-step, used to use it all the time. And then one day it just stopped working and I lost my shit. I did not feel confident anymore in my skin. Like, I used to have the greatest skin, no blemishes, could control it. Everything was fine. And then I started getting a lot more acne
Yeah, that's all
here.
hormonal. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. In Clinique, no matter what, like the skincare, and you tell me because you're the SD bestie. Is there anything topical or skincare wise that we can buy over the counter from Walmart, CVS, Target, Ulta
Well,
that's
yes.
going
I
to
mean,
give us like
there's
for
different type.
hormonal acne?
It just depends on what type of hormonal acne you're having. If it's
Hmm.
like cystic, nodular, below the surface, that really does take pretty intense lifestyle changes or
Mm-hmm.
medical intervention.
Had to stop eating the cheesecake and drinking a
Yeah,
can of
like
Coke
drifting
every
more
day
towards
and
an
all those things.
anti-inflammatory diet, which is a
Yeah.
low glycemic diet, which can help balance out hormones and
Mm-hmm.
inflammatory responses. And then there's, getting on antibiotics for acne like minocycline, doxycycline, or, you know, getting on testosterone suppressants like spironolactone. So,
And that's what
but,
I
but
take
there
now.
can be
Yeah.
acne that's blackheads and whiteheads and, more surface level. And then definitely, I think good topical skincare can really help with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you see it show up from your med spa that you own for so many years, and then just in working with consumers now? How do you see the intersectionality of mental health or emotional health and well-being? How do you see that show up in the area of skincare? Are you seeing where people are like, I just can't, I'm not leaving the house?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I have seen.
Or being super
Yeah, I mean,
anxious?
there's something called, I don't think I'm pronouncing it right. So the dermatologist is listening, don't judge me. Acne exorcerate. I've
Mhm.
seen severe issues with picking, like
Yeah.
OCD, people literally causing so much permanent damage to their skin, gouging holes, permanent scars.
Yeah.
I've seen people with severe body dysmorphia. I've seen people that, are addicted to, you know, one thing after another. Yeah. I mean, a lot of body dysmorphia and a lot of self harm I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting as we talk about this, like I'm learning that this isn't just a skincare issue. This is a mental health issue. This is something that we really like. You can't, as an esthetician and or a dermatologist, like this is something, okay, I can help you with the acne in and of itself, but have you ever thought about seeing a therapist to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about some of these things?
I
Yeah.
have recommended that to people, numerous times over the last 20 years for sure.
Yeah.
But I think social media is also making things worse. Like
How
every
so?
area, so of all of our lives, social media has a negative impact. I'm starting to think less and less of any positive. I used to think, oh, it can help scale businesses. Oh, it can help you keep in touch with people. But now I think it's just all around bad. Um, but yeah, I think the whole situation with filters,
Mhm.
and then also just the whole, like, everybody's an expert on social media, so
Yeah.
for everything, especially in the skincare industry, and so you're just inundated with just too it's too much, and it makes people get obsessed even more with
Yeah.
constantly improving themselves because it's a fine line that you walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for
It's
example, I
really
haven't
tough.
gotten Botox or fillers for 2 years, and, I have so much access to that stuff, but actually going this Saturday before my wedding, this Saturday, which I am so excited about. It's all I've been able to talk about this summer. I'm finally getting my face done, but I have to be very careful because I have access to so much stuff. So I could literally just go from one thing after another. Like, hey, this little crease right here. Like every week I could just be fine
Yeah.
tuning. But I'll be like, nope, you have to let yourself like be real.
Yeah. It is talk about talk about fine lines, like
Very, very
everything.
independent, but no, it's so funny. I just like
Yeah.
I have these friends that use these filters. Y'all know who you are. And I'm like, aren't you embarrassed that when you show up, like people are gonna be like, she doesn't look anything like her
Yeah.
pictures? Like
Yeah.
there's just these girls that are just like dude, you are completely portraying that you look like something that you don't.
Yeah,
And when
I
people see you
know.
in real life, you don't look anything like that. So there's so many
Yeah.
layers to just, it's very interesting to me. Like, what is going through the psyche?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I use
I
filters too, but let me tell you, I also walk a fine line with filters. I'm like, I've always stayed away from the TikTok and Snapchat filters. I'm like, those are just too much.
I mean, it makes you not look like yourself. You
Yourself.
look like a completely different person. I think the filter thing started out as just like this fun, haha. I have this top hat on now, or I've got a bunny nose and ears, or something like that. But then it became this thing, like there's a whole industry for filters. Like it's
It's
so
insane.
wild
Yeah, it's
that we can look any kind of way. Now, I will tell you, I'll use a filter when I look raggedy and disheveled and a mess, but I need to go online to say one quick thing.
for
I
me.
might put a little something on to make it look like, but that's not the norm for me.
Well, you do you. I have my opinion.
Yeah.
I use filters occasionally. So
I just don't want to scare anybody with
I feel the same way
what this
too.
looks like.
I have to do these Instagram lives sometimes, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh my God, my skin looks terrible. People are going to eat me up. Let me just put a small filter on this.
And the reality is, you created a skincare brand because this is something that you needed as well. It was targeted towards and for people with melanin rich skin, but it's not like you talk about Urban Skin RX being a multicultural skincare brand, meaning all cultures. This is something that you use as well, that anybody can use.
Very much so. And,
Yeah.
and the interesting thing is, when I started my company, it was really focused on diversity and being inclusive of deeper skin tones, but it wasn't to exclude anybody. But
Hmm.
it's interesting, because we were so popular with deeper skin tones for the obvious reason, which
Hmm.
because there was pretty much no other options, it led us to look like that was the only skin tone,
Hmm.
or that we weren't for people that have lighter skin or
Yeah. And
fewer
that's just not the
Caucasian. And
case.
that's actually not true at all.
Skin is skin.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, so
skin.
in light skin suffers from hyperpigmentation, and our ingredients work for all skin tones. I think what sets us apart is, again, the hyperpigmentation part, because it over indexes in melanin rich skin. And then just the testing that we do on deeper skin tones. Like, we
Mhm.
are very inclusive of making sure our products work on deeper skin tones when we are testing out the efficacy of a product. So a lot of our
Yeah.
trials, we really try to be more inclusive of deeper skin tones, which, clinical trial companies, third parties
Yeah.
are the worst with.
And I know that you're going to probably slap me over the internet for talking about this, but you kind of brought it up in terms of the testing. I know you're giving me the side eye already. Stop it.
It's good. What you were going to say? You said I'm going to slap you.
You had the time, the hardest time with the SPF.
Yeah,
Remember
I
with the
wish I
oh
would
my
have
god.
just given up, to be honest with you. I look back on that part of my life, and
Because Black people and their SPF, obviously we need it. I won't say obviously, but we
yeah, I
absolutely
just wish
need it.
I wouldn't have
But
cared so damn much about the whole mineral thing. Like, yes, mineral sunblock is better for hyperpigmentation and sensitive skin, but it's made from a white rock, and the best sunblock is the one that you can get somebody to wear. And chemical sunscreens just blend way better and can feel
mhm,
way better, especially on deeper skin tones. And so I just put so much time and resources into trying to make this sheer mineral sunblock, when
I mean, it was years,
I just don't
right?
think anybody's cared. So I wanted people to care. I don't think anybody cared. You know what I mean? And I should have just been focused on giving people what they wanted.
And what did they want?
A sunblock that felt good and blended good, which is chemical, and nobody really cared about the extra distance I was going for mineral sunblock.
But you care. You cared a lot.
I cared
you,
so much.
you cared a lot.
Now I'm over it. You can tell I'm salty about it.
We'll talk about that. We'll put that on our list of things to talk about after this. So, as we wrap up, I do want to talk about some common skincare concerns and best products or even best ingredients that people can look for in whatever line of skincare they choose to address whatever concern. So, I'm going to throw out some things to you, not necessarily rapid fire style, but I'm going to give you some things and you tell me what either product UrbanSkinRX has or a particular ingredient that you think works really well for this or they need to look for. So first up, crow's feet.
Oh, crow's feet, Botox.
Really?
Yeah, so Botox. So these muscles,
yes,
right here, that comes from muscle movement. The only way once you develop crow's feet to really, stop it is to freeze those muscles. You can use products with retinol, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, peptides, which can kind of like soften the appearance of them. But every time you smile and move your face, they're going to be there.
You're activating those muscles. So you're just continuing okay. Understood. Is it the same thing for laugh lines?
Yep. Filler. Dermal filler. I would never sell anybody any topical product for a smile line.
Okay, well, you're depressing me, but fine. Strawberry skin. Can you, first of all, two things I need you to do. Oh, no. Never mind. I'll come back to that later. Strawberry skin. Can you describe what it is and then what we should be?
Yes, strawberry skin are these little black dots that people mostly get all over their legs, on their hair follicles, which can come from shaving or like little like plugs in their hair follicles, and it kind of looks like the little like black dots that are on strawberries. Glycolic acid, lactic acid, products with urea in them, like a combination of exfoliators with moisturizers. Doing that every single day can really dramatically improve the appearance of them. Just to let you know, strawberry legs is different than keratosis pilaris, KP, which a lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
Which
so tell me what KP is.
Which KP is a skin condition which can happen anywhere on the body, not really the face, but like the back of the arms are very common, the thighs, and it also takes similar ingredients to strawberry legs. And we have great products for that, which is the Even Tone Smoothing Body Treatment. Our body treatment line directly will improve, dramatically improve both those issues.
Let me tell you something about the body. I think people sleep on the body care line.
No, they don't actually.
They don't.
No, our sales are really good for our body line.
Guess what? I slept on the body.
Oh yeah, it's so
Let me
good.
own
it's
that
strong
statement.
too. That
is good.
It is strong.
Let me tell you my favorite though. My favorite is the bar, but in the little bag.
Oh, you like that one?
I do.
That's done with. That was a limited edition.
Guess who has two in her arsenal?
Oh, well, good.
Yes, because I love that. I love that, and sometimes like if I have the one that's in the jar, right? The regular one that's already in the jar. I kind of carve that out and then throw it back in.
Yep, that's cute. I like that. Well, if we
really like that bag.
We ever run another lot, I will send you multiple.
I love those. Okay. Ingrown hairs.
Ingrown hairs, laser hair removal is the best thing because, when you kill the hair follicle, you have no hair growth, meaning you can have no ingrown hairs. But if that's not an option, using something with lactic acid to lightly exfoliate, I think can be really good. Also, calming ingredients like arnica, echinacea. If the ingrown hairs have turned into kind of like a pustule where you're seeing like pus or like a lot of inflammation, then more acne ingredients like benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid. Our men's collection, which we're actually taking off the word men because so many women want to use it, and we just felt like we really didn't launch it right by making it so targeted towards men is our ingrown hair collection. We have a serum that's under $15. I think it's the ingrown hair and dark spot serum, and it works so good. It has all those ingredients in it.
So that would be great for the vag after a
Mm-hmm.
little. Oh,
Yep.
I love that idea.
Yep.
I love that idea. Vag care. I'm here for it. All right. Last two, dry skin.
I would say ingredients like ceramides, shea butter, glycerin, vitamin E, hyaluronic acid. I mean, depending on how dry your skin is, there's something called occlusives, like an occlusive ointment, which is kind of like the texture of like an Aquaphor or a Vaseline that really helps prevent moisture loss. It traps any moisture in the skin. Or something that's like a humectant that attracts water to it, like a hyaluronic acid, can be better for skin that's like more on the oily side. My favorite moisturizer from UrbanSkinRX is the Mega Moisture Illuminating Night Cream. It's so good.
I love that. I love the scent of that.
Do you? It's unscented.
It has like it's almost a little bit of a shea scent, not heavy. I don't like the scent of shea, but there's something in there. It's a natural scent. It's not like it's perfumed, but I love the smell of that.
Yeah,
I
that's our
love it.
thickest moisturizer. It's still not like super, super thick, but it's by far our thickest moisturizer and the one that I think works the best for dry skin.
I love that. I need to put that got to add that to the cart today too. All right. So last one, which is kind of, I think this is going to fall in line. You may have the same answer for this as hyperpigmentation, but pitted acne scarring.
Oh, that's difficult. I would definitely use ingredients for anti-aging, which help to create collagen, like ingredients like retinol, peptide, vitamin C. But it's only going to do so much. Really, the best way to improve pitted acne scarring, I think, is also with a combination of fillers, RF microneedling. Yeah, I think a combination of those two can help to more intensely kind of do collagen remodeling in specific places that people have pitted acne scarring. So you literally, like the same thing that you put in somebody's lips to create volume or cheeks, there's a injection style and certain types of fillers that are better at plumping up some of those pitted scars.
I never thought about that for that. Very
You can use filler for everything. They're now doing penis enlargement with fillers.
Yeah, I've heard.
People are doing coochie enlargement to make their lips look plumper.
I know. We talked about that a couple weeks ago with Dr. Jackie on the podcast, and the O shot and the P shot got a lot. Still one of our most popular episodes. People are going back and playing that one again because there's so much.
Did you see all those like TikTok reels that I did? It's sex. Sex is really having a huge moment.
Having a moment.
And it's really seeping over into the skincare beauty industry. I mean, you have, places like Ulta and Sephora and Target that are now really going in on sexual wellness products, whether or not it's moisturizers, creams, or it's pleasure, toys, like all that.
Yeah. And I think it's been a missed opportunity and definitely something very necessary. Sex has always been kind of this goal-directed behavior, whether that's procreation or orgasm, but there hasn't been a lot of attention to women's health and sexuality, sexual pleasure, beyond lube. And don't really know if that was for us anyway. So I'm so glad to see that expansion. And I know in the coming weeks, we'll be talking about that a lot more on this podcast. But Rachel, I can't thank you enough.
I have loved being here. It's been like chatting with one of my closest friends.
Well, we go way back. Love you so much. And I'm so proud of you. So proud of UrbanSkinRX and everything that you've been able to do. Please keep pushing. Please keep pushing please keep doing the work that even if we don't know how good it is or don't know how much work you put into it or don't seem to appreciate it, I use my mineral skincare,
The
my
sunblock.
SPF all the time.
Sheer glow.
Yes, I absolutely
Well,
do.
good.
And I'm gonna put on an extra layer today
Thank
just
you.
because you work
Thank
so
you.
hard. Just because you work so hard on it. But thank you so much for everything that you're doing with Urban Skin RX, urbanskinrx.com. You can find it in Ulta, in CVS, in Sephora, in Walgreens. I just love to shop for it on urbanskinrx.com.
Yeah.
That's my favorite place to go
Yeah.
because I can get everything I need. I don't have to, like, if this one only carries the Pro Strength and this one only carries it, I can get everything I need, one fell swoop. I'll probably be placing an order a little bit later today.
Well, I love it.
Yep. And I'm hoping everybody that's listening is going to place an
I
order too.
hope so too. Yeah, take our skin
Yes.
quiz. It's a great place to
Yes.
start.
Yes. Take the skin quiz. Talk to the estheticians that are there. They're there for you. Ask them questions, whether it's about your personal skincare concerns or a specific product. If you're trying to figure out what to get, they're there to answer those questions. So just ask them. Ask them. When are you going to have that opportunity? Rachel, thank you so much for being part of Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff. Everybody, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe with podcast. We have some amazing episodes coming up in the next few weeks. A couple in particular that are very much going to be targeted at this month, which is Pride Month. These next two episodes, they're going to be a wang dang doodle. Can't wait for you to experience those, including how to be a better ally. That is coming up on Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff, probably, I think, the end of the month. So just keep tuning in because we got a lot going on, a lot to share, and a lot to learn. Rachel, thank you so much. And thank you guys for listening to Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff. Ciao.